Sammy.
Mr. Park, how goes it?
Yo.
I think I got maybe 6 hours of sleep last night, which is better than the average five.
That's not good.
Yeah, I've averaged about five ever since high school.
I went through a period where it was 6.0 hours on the number for months and months and months.
Was that alarm assisted or was that natural body rhythm?
No, just natural, just wake up and get up and go.
hmm Well, then I don't see any problem with that. If your body's rested and rejuvenated and
Yep.
self-awakened.
Which meant I must have gotten a lot of deep sleep. So that works.
And by the way, that's how the 5 hours works. You know, I've gotten so used to it, my body just wakes up after 5 hours. I had to hit the snooze button this morning on my body.
Yeah.
But I do understand now more about how your mind has to, take out the garbage and do it during sleep. So
It does. Yep.
I wonder whether or not there's still just way too much garbage in my head, which is probably true. Oh, look at this. I love these moments where my cat just jumps into my lap. I love these
Well,
moments.
looking at it is not easy when your video's not on.
Let me see. Let me turn this on. Kitty, turn this video down here.
Yeah. See, our cat was a Burmese, and Burmese love to be with their people, but they don't like to be touched.
Interesting.
They
Yeah,
you put them on your lap and they jump off.
yeah, I had a black and white kitty that was that way once. But she was a rescue and had been mistreated her first 2 years. So gave her a home until she passed away at 16. So is Linda also a cat person? Or are you
Oh, that
guys?
was it was her cat.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. So just cats, right? No dog?
No dog. Now, I had dogs. My first wife had, we ended up breeding Staffy Bull Terriers and Peruvian Paso horses. And we also had a cat that really got along well with the dogs, even though the dogs are vicious if to other dogs.
That's cool that they accepted the cat into their pack. Like this one, I
Well,
call this one another golden.
our first res- our first experience with that was is that my first wife had gone out and bought a Siamese kitten. And then all of a sudden, this mutt showed up on our front porch, fairly young. And I took it to the vet. It was, at the time, it was healthy. And she didn't quite know what to do with it. So she just threw them both in a box to sleep together. and they didn't kill each other. They that cat and that dog were inseparable.
That's really cool. I love that interspecies kind of bonding. I don't know if I ever introduced you to a friend here. She's only about 4 miles away. And she runs a place called Camino Canine Resort, which is where I used to take the dogs whenever I had to travel, and they would overnight there.
Yeah.
And her name is
No,
Chelsea.
you didn't introduce me to her.
Okay. Well, she's got a 10-acre place. And not only does she, love and take care of dogs for most of the people here on the South End, but she likes all kinds of animals. So I think by now she has goats, she's got a donkey, she's got a cow, and she has a pig that just yesterday had piglets. So she posted pictures of piglets this morning.
We used
So,
to have all of those animals except the donkey.
uh, the more I learn about donkeys, the more I want a donkey. They're they're evidently domesticated. They're kind of like dogs, and
Yes, they are.
yeah, I like what I'm learning about donkeys. Yeah, if I could actually settle down and really move back into the 5-acre place, that might be an option. But
What would you do with it besides feed it and move the shit around?
well, see, we used to have ducks, and the ducks basically over time succumbed to the raccoons. That the raccoons were the worst.
That's a problem, yes.
So I think the donkey and maybe the dogs out there would keep raccoons away. Not not the least of which is it'd be fun to have a huge dog like a donkey. Take it for walks. Oh, the more I find out about capybaras, the more I like capybaras. There's a capybara sanctuary, I think, in Louisiana, and there's also some really cool places in Asia, and they seem like the chillest animal ever. Nothing attacks them, and they don't attack anything. It's really strange. They're just gentle, they're mild, they're friendly. Here come my dogs. They want breakfast now. Not breakfast time yet. Gotta wait another, what is it? Wait another 22 minutes.
It's just a
Ah,
gigantic rodent. They're pretty huge.
yep, yep. And they're often depicted, just among either alligators or crocodiles, and they're, standing on top of these alligators or crocodiles, and the crocodiles and alligators don't mind them, evidently, and they're not afraid of them.
How would your dogs dictate to them?
I think my dogs would get to know and like everything. In fact, it's really cool now that when the dogs or the cat they go out, and then they come back. You know how dogs, sniff each other and bonk heads. Well, actually they don't bonk heads, but the cat is now bonking heads with the dogs whenever the cat comes back inside. It's like a way of saying, "Hey, I'm back. How are you doing?"
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, he walks to each dog and bonks heads, and then goes about, whatever he wants to do, whether it's to go eat or tear up some furniture or to come visit me or whatever. And then they, like occasionally one will lick the other, just on the head, just a couple of licks. I really like that. And they all sleep on the same bed together, which means I don't have much room for my legs, but I just
Oh,
push
how
and
that
shove and they
works.
stay there.
Yep, I know how that works.
Well, I don't know how big yours are, but each of these are 75 pounds. And the cat is like 22 last I weighed him. So that's some protoplasm I have to move around just to make room for my legs.
I don't know where you would get one.
A capybara?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think they'd be considered, one of these exotic animals. But there are exotic animal licenses if you choose to do it legally. But
they're not exotic. They're basically siblings of guinea pigs, for Christ's
yes,
sake.
yeah, they're just big. Yeah. I like everything I'm hearing about them and seeing about them.
I don't think you can go to the pet store and buy one. That's the
Nah,
problem.
nah, you'd have to, like go down to Louisiana and get one or something. It'd be harder to go overseas and get one, but they're more plentiful overseas.
That's the problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
try and bring it through TSA today.
Well, it would probably have an easier time than me getting through TSA.
Well, there
You
is
think?
that.
By the way, on that topic, I believe Christy Nome is supposed to testify next week.
She already did, didn't? No, it was the other one. Yeah.
Bondi, yeah, Bondi did a wonderful job representing
Oh,
herself
yes.
and the government,
Right.
and being a stellar example of a enlightened woman. Uh, and that guy Stephen Chung, as an Asian, I'm embarrassed that he's an Asian. God, what a waste of food. By the way, did you sign the petition? I signed the petition nominating the people of Minneapolis for a Nobel Prize.
I never saw the petition.
If I can find it again, I'll send it to you just in case you're interested. But I think it was really, really good how, despite all the violence and provocation and two murders, the city of Minneapolis protested and did it visibly but non-violently. I also think Portland did a very good job. Portland is underlooked now in that whole thing. It wasn't so clear in LA though.
LA really was, if I recall right, was the first test case.
Yeah,
And
it was.
it didn't go well.
Nope. Well, it didn't go well, but I would think for either side. Was that what you meant, or did you meant for one side?
Um, for either side.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree with you.
That the LA Times was had interviewed some ICE agents and said they were just bored stiff. There was nothing to do.
Which is still better than going out and committing murder.
That part is true. Actually, it wasn't the ICE agents, it was the National Guard.
Oh yeah, that's who Trump took authority over until
Yes,
California resisted. Yeah,
yes.
which was also the right thing to do.
Of course it was. I think LA was Trump testing the waters.
Yeah. He's always going to push and see what he can get away with.
Right.
Ah, one day the world will be a much better place without him in it. I mean, somebody will take his place, but I have a hard time imagining that it could be worse. But hell, I've been surprised before.
Well, I saw a headline today. It's in People magazine that the worst president in the US, and it's not who you think.
I've seen other nominees. Yeah,
And I wouldn't be surprised, but he's the worst in our time.
yeah. Although now that the names are coming out, there's also some really bad stuff coming out about Bush Sr. And you know what I'm
Uh
waiting for? Yes, go ahead.
do you mean in reference to Epstein?
Yes.
So I wasn't aware of that.
Yeah. Man, everybody's getting roped in. And I haven't yet seen a link to the Bohemian Club, but I'm expecting to soon. You know about the
To whom?
Bohemian Club?
No.
They're a gathering, a regular gathering. I don't know if it's annual or semi-annual or biannual or whatever, but they're like, 2,000 people that belong to this men's only quote unquote fraternity. They
Hmm.
gather someplace in Monte Rio, California. It's a super secret place. No women are allowed. And they dress up in robes and supposedly do other kinds of fun activities. There's also a big bonfire event, but nobody has really any details about what really goes on in the bonfire. But like the who's who of the United States and possibly international seem to all be members. And I suspect that sooner or later there will be a connection between Epstein's network and the Bohemian Club.
They have a
Also,
Wikipedia page.
yeah, look at that. And also Yale's fraternity, the Skull and Bones,
Yeah,
of which,
the Yale's fraternity was one that came up when uh, what's his name was running for president.
yes, Kerry,
Yeah, Kerry.
because the Bushes and Kerry are all members.
We're all members. Yes,
Yep. So, like, that fraternity knew they had influence in the White House regardless who won. So, did you, I hate to bring it up, but I will. Did you finally find out what beef jerky is?
are you talking about that dried meat?
No, I'm not talking about that bright meat.
I have no idea what you're talking about then.
If you go to jmail.world
Oh, yeah.
and you look for beef jerky, you'll find dozens of references to beef jerky. You'll find references to beef jerky cooking classes. You'll find references to bags of jerky in the fridge or in the freezer. And as far as I know, once you have dried real jerky, why would it need to go in the
Why
freezer?
would you put it anywhere? That it was made so that it
Exactly. So you could transport it, right? You didn't
hmm.
need refrigeration. But and they talk about carrying bags of it. Hey, bring me 6 bags of jerky next time you're out here. Stuff. That kind of email.
Okay, so it's a code for something else.
Yes, it is.
When we can imagine it's young people that jerk men off.
No, that's not what it means.
What does it mean?
It means the cooked flesh of children.
Oh shit.
It's really dark. It's really dark. Now, I can't prove it, but you'll find hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos now talking about this particular hypothesis, of which there's more and more and more evidence coming out. I like sushi, but how many times do I write about sushi in my emails? Probably less than a dozen in like 30 years. And I got to tell you, I really like sushi. So there's some obsession these people have with this quote unquote beef jerky. And oh, by the way, did you see the reference that I don't know exactly what the date was, but 330 gallons of sulfuric acid was purchased by Jeffrey Epstein. They have the records.
That's a shitload of sulfuric H2SO4.
Yes. Now, what do you do that requires sulfuric acid? I know I've never ordered sulfuric acid. Last time I had anything to do with sulfuric acid was chemistry class in high school.
Yeah. And I think old car batteries.
Sure, but that's in battery form, right? It's not pure sulfuric
Yes.
acid.
Right.
Here's the other thing that's interesting. When you order that much, I believe they come in 65-gallon drums, like five of them. And there are videos of children being tortured by being locked in something that's very drum-like, just so the people outside enjoying this could hear the children screaming and crying. These are evil people. I mean, I didn't think that such depravity still existed today. But not only has racism been, just under the surface, waiting to be expressed by a tolerant society, which we've turned into, but these very dark children sacrificing rituals and so-called secret societies still exist. And Epstein and Trump, and oh, by the way, the Clintons and Bill Gates, they're all over these files. You probably saw Jamie Raskin's reference that Trump's name is in the files over 1 million times.
Well, I don't know how much of that is hyperbole.
Look, Jamie Raskin has not been given to hyperbole from what I've seen over the years. I mean, he spoke directly into a microphone right after he reviewed the unredacted
So what
versions.
did he write an algorithm that counted the hits?
He did a search. He did a search on the documents. Yes.
Aha. Slightly off topic. Are you going to FedWiki this Wednesday?
I will try. I do, I didn't know where the link was when I was actually looking for it. I do believe you did send it to me, but I
I
didn't
sent
have it
it
in
to
the
you.
right place.
It's in an email that I sent to you and Ward when I introduced you, and you
Yeah. Okay.
replied to it.
All right, then I'll try this
and
week, this Wednesday.
10 a.m. Pacific. This is the week I will miss Fedwicky. So
Oh,
sorry
okay,
I don't get to be there with you.
okay. Would you prefer that I come next week?
Come both weeks, doesn't matter. You're
Okay,
going to find these guys are really, really, um, they're a room full of overachievers, and you're gonna
okay, cool.
you're likely to meet um, a fellow that completely reinvented without knowing it, Ted Nelson.
Xanadu,
Well, everything that's in Xanadu, he's putting in what he calls Cloud Nine.
interesting. I will like. I would love to talk to him about transclusion, which is, I think, the reference that got you to suggest this.
Well, and so the point is, I, he was talking on the FedWiki channel, and I said, "You know, do know that you're doing transclusion?" And he said, "What's that?"
Hmm.
And I said, "Start looking up Ted Nelson." And
Yeah.
he came back the next week and said, "Oh my God,
Is he under 30 or under 40?
he's well under 40.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
He's
amazing what they
probably
don't
30
teach.
something with a 4 or 5 year old kid that's always hanging in his lap and staring in the camera and occluding his face.
That's good. Kid's probably interested in what his dad is interested in.
Well, we don't know. It's just the kid's probably slightly ADHD and can't sit still. That was the one thing I liked about my kids. I could give them coloring books and whatever, and they would sit still for hours. My son would stand by me when I was playing my keyboard, and he said, "Can I try that?" And he was probably 3 years old. So I picked him up, put him on my lap, and told him how to push these keys and those keys and this and that, and the other thing. And then I set him on the high chair himself. And he was there for a couple of hours. And every once in a while, he would try two or three keys at the same time and get a chord that sounded good. And he would just grin and grin and grin.
That's a great story, Jack.
Well, he was, he's Asian, and when you live in, the Yuba County, California, which is redneck central, rice farms in the Air Force Base and Sikh colonies and all kinds of things. Um, he and his sister were the only two Asians in the school, in the grammar school.
Hmm.
And of course, they didn't beat up on little girls, but they sure had fun pounding on him. But we got him through it. We eventually got them both into Taekwondo, and it was sparring day one day, and they all had their boxing gloves and helmets on, and the dojo master was busy talking to his Korean master, looking to upgrade his black belt to a higher dan. And so he wasn't watching when this little Mexican boy slugged my son in the face, which you're not supposed to do. So my son knocked him out, flat out cold.
Wait, this is during sparring or this is just during regular class?
Sparring.
Oh, okay.
They were just supposed to do boxing, but on their body, not on their
Hmm.
face.
Hmm.
And so we were at a school dance that evening, and I got a phone call from the dojo master, and I said that he wanted to talk to John, and I said he's out, believe it or not, dancing.
Hmm.
And he said, I'm proud of him. At least by now he knows, he understands that if he has to, he can do it.
Yes.
And I said, yeah, that's what I thought.
I was curious though, how did he manage to find out? Did the parent of the other kid complain?
No, he eventually looked over, and there was the kid flat on his back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I was there, but my gaze was not on my son, so I didn't see it until it was over.
Hmm.
I was actually watching how my daughter handled the guys, and she had the nasty habit of doing karate kicks. Guess where?
The head? Oh,
No.
between the legs?
Yes. She wasn't tall enough to
Yeah,
to reach body parts.
yeah. That's an easy response to oppression.
And so the pretty soon it didn't take long before the guys did not want to mess with her.
Hmm. Well, when my kids went to Taekwondo, they had to spar also, but they had to wear helmets, these
Yeah,
protective
they
foam
had
helmets.
helmets,
Oh, okay.
but he still got him in the face, and it caught him off guard, and the kid went down.
Hmm. Yeah. I'll tell you a story about Veronica. You've met Veronica.
Yes, I
She
do.
was in Taekwondo. And after about a year or so, when it came to sparring, she said, I don't like this. I don't want to do it. I want to quit. I said, okay, Veronica, you can quit. But um, if you really want to quit, though, you have to tell the Taekwondo instructor. You got to tell the Kwangyonim. And she was afraid of doing that. She didn't want to go and tell him that she wanted to quit. So she actually stuck with it. And she actually eventually got to black belt, which is way better than I did. I only got to brown stripe, but she
I
actually
think
got a black belt.
that is really cool. My the main teacher at my kids' middle high school charter school was a black belt, and in fact, the school that the charter school they went to in their later years um, did not have football and baseball and basketball. What it had was a variant of taekwondo that you could do um, basically on because they didn't have a gym area, so they did it on stage. But also, what they were doing on stage was modern dance, and so kids could choose dance or martial arts.
Yeah, I can see how the forms make sense in that setting.
Yeah, it was mostly the forms. It wasn't uh, the full on exercise, but by that time I'd already got them in Taekwondo,
Hmm.
and I think that my son probably got up to a brown belt or stripe or whatever. I don't think my daughter got beyond a blue, something like that. I don't remember.
Yeah, just for the record, the reason I didn't go beyond brown belt is because that's the time when I switched jobs and switched from working in Sunnyvale, which made the classes possible, to working in Siebel, which is, like near 92 and 101. So that was a 45
Oh,
minute commute. So that meant I was in
yeah,
my car, an hour and a half every day.
right, right.
And that made classes really difficult. That's my excuse anyway. I could have gone maybe once a week, during the weekend, but still the weekends were having, brunch and breakfast with the kids. Yeah, I miss those days. Oh, Jack,
What?
something very, very good happened to me this week.
I'm
I
sorry
don't
to
know if
hear
I've
that.
told what? Sorry.
What's up?
You know, um, my older daughter Amy and I have had a rough time, and
I never saw it.
this is not Veronica. This is Amy, who's older than Veronica.
Yeah, except, okay, who was the daughter that was there when I stayed at your house?
Veronica, she's my younger daughter.
And who
Amy
was the
is
daughter? Who was the daughter that came to? Um,
serious conversations.
yes,
That was Amy. Yes, you're right. You do have a good memory, Jack. You do remember.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that was Amy. Amy is nine
I
years older than Veronica.
okay.
Yeah. Um, anyway, I don't need to go into too many details, although I can, but I just wanted to shorten up the story. We hadn't really spoken. I mean, we've texted very minimally since, I don't know, 2.5 years. The last 2.5 years have been really rough. But she texted me about a week ago, and the first line that I got from her just out of the blue was something like, I could look it up, but from memory, I think it's something like, I just want you to know, Dad, that I love you.
Oh, that's cool. What a great
And
opening.
I almost cried.
Oh, I hear you.
So we texted a little bit, and eventually we spoke 2 nights ago. What's this, Sunday now? Yeah, we spoke Friday night for about 20 minutes. It was really good. And I'm going to go see her next Saturday. So just thought I'd share that. That was something that really made my week, made my month. Thanks for
That
listening to the story,
was
Jack.
great. Great news.
Well, I was kind of expecting Kayla to join because we were in the middle of a pretty fun topic yesterday and sort of thought it might be continued today. But if we don't continue on that topic, I'm going to have to dredge up one of my notes, unless you have something on your mind, Jack.
No,
But like I warned you yesterday, all my notes right now are so dark. All the stuff that I'm encountering, and I'm learning about how rotten the U.S. is all the way to the core. My dad came here because he thought this was a land of opportunity. he managed to get a PhD in math. He managed to do well enough to actually write 6 books, of which he is extremely, extremely. I know he'll never use the word, but I know he's proud of the work that he put into those books. He is, one of these people who cares about attention to detail to the extreme, to the point where publishers get so impatient with him because he always wants to add more errata to his books.
Oh dear.
But he
Yeah.
managed to finally get them all published. And I'll have to say, at one time, he was really complaining about the quality of the textbooks he had to use because he's a math teacher, right? So eventually, after a few years, I just said, well, if they're really that bad, why don't you write these books? And I think he actually took that to heart. That's when he started writing his books.
Oh, good.
So
It's a
his
great
first one,
motivation.
yeah. I mean, I kind of got a little bit irritated at him because he was just repeating it, so often. So he wrote one. His first book was on complex numbers and geometry, which is a fun book. And with geometry, you can include a lot of pictures. So it's actually a pretty accessible book. I can't solve every problem in that book, or at least I haven't tried, but most of them you could probably do if you're a smart high school kid or a reasonably smart college kid. But then his next one was really, really dense. Um, I believe that's the one with his complete treatise on calculus.
Oh
And
dear.
yes, there are many other books on calculus, but boy, he really wanted to do the presentation his way. And so he's really proud of these. So a number of different topics he's done books, and he was going to stop at 5, but he had so many notes from the past that he eventually published a 6th. And now he's 93, so I don't think he's going to do any more than that. But I'm really actually myself. I know it's a sin, but I'm proud of my dad for really
Oh
doing that.
no, you have every right to be.
Yeah. I mean, they don't sell a lot, but in his view, they're like, the pinnacles of textbooks in those subjects, in his opinion, of course. And he's taught them, over, I don't know, 30, 40 years. I don't know how many years he was teaching. That he's not one to brag either, you know. He actually is one of the most ascetic, ASCETIC people I know. He doesn't buy into consumerism. He doesn't buy into fads. He's as minimalist as they come. He's probably as close to a Taoist as I know of anybody who's living a normal life. So, like for example, if he's got a pair of pants that work, he doesn't need another pair of pants. So he's worn a pair of pants for like 3 or 4 decades, which also means he hasn't really changed as far as his weight. He's kept himself, the same shape. He's having trouble recently though, because just about a year and a half or 2 years ago, he had to have a what do you call these devices that monitor your heart and give you a jolt, heart something or other. Yeah,
Pacemaker?
a pacemaker, right, 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 right. So he had to have a pacemaker put in a couple of years ago.
You do remember I met your dad.
Ah, geez, my memory is shot. I do not remember that you met my dad.
Oh no. The first time I came up there, he was living downstairs and you put
Yes.
me in a bedroom right next to him
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and and he he gave me a puzzle It was a stick with uh, two loops of strings
And a
and
ring?
there, and a ring, yeah. And
Yes.
you had to get the ring from the one to the other.
Did you solve it?
No, actually, what I come to believe is all you do is flip it over because
And
it's a point of view puzzle.
that's not all you do, but he loves these topology problems. He's
Yes.
really he really loves them. I got to tell you, I had trouble with that one also. You had to show me.
Well, I eventually caved in and decided it was a point of view puzzle. In other words, it just depends on how you look at it. If you turn it over from the backside, it is on the other side.
Hmm. Well, there are a number of things. Like one of the talks he gives invited talks at some high schools every once in a while. Like the high school I graduated from in Seattle, he got to know the math teachers there pretty well. So he's had a much longer relationship with them than I did. You know, he kept emailing and they kept enjoying the puzzles that he would send them. So he would get invited every few years or so to come and talk to the current classes. And one of his favorite talks was the Pythagorean theorem because he's collected and he knows over 400 different proofs of the Pythagorean theorem. So he'll give some of the more esoteric proofs, which most people don't ever get to see because most people,
Right.
will get one, maybe two, you know, but there's over 400, which I
Yeah.
didn't know until he told me. And then he also likes these magic squares. There's a bunch of squares like all the numbers 1 to 32 or 1 through 16 or whatever, and there'll be a number of different random numbers on each page. He'll show you, is it on this one? Is it on that one? You'll say no, yes, no, yes, no, yes, and he'll say, okay, it's 14. And most people don't know why that works. That one's pretty easy to figure out. You could probably figure that one out in like half a second. But he loves doing that with kids, and kids
Yeah.
seem to think it's magic. So he likes, introducing math in fun ways to kids. But he really, really hated teaching remedial algebra at college. He thought, if you're in college, why do you still need remedial algebra? That's unthinkable in Taiwan. You
Yep.
can't
No,
get to college.
but not in America.
Yeah, not in America. And certainly, same is true in Japan. You can't get to college without, even understanding calculus. Calculus is taught in high school, or I believe it's even earlier than senior year in high school in those countries. But here in high school, getting to calculus is something considered very special.
We did pre-calculus in high school for us.
Yeah.
But my friend Howard Liu took full calculus in ninth grade remotely from UC Berkeley.
Testing one, two, three. Welcome through. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three. Testing one, two, three.
I'm hearing you. You did break up at one point.
Yeah, I guess it used to be I could go downstairs and make coffee and nobody would know because the connection would still be good. For some reason, in the last couple of weeks, these headphones aren't as strong as they used to be. They've, I'm disappointed. Anyway, I'm back at the desk.
Uh-huh. And you've left your cat behind, I presume.
My cat is perched on. There's There's a place near the sliding back door that he loves to perch at because he can watch what's
Ah,
going on outside. And I put a blanket there so he could be comfortable. Actually, just a thick towel. That's one of his favorite places. He's got like five or six favorite places that he'll just randomly select from. I don't know what algorithm he uses. So, hey, what was the topic being discussed on last Wednesday's word session?
um, some of them are highly focused on FedWiki and changes to this and changes to that, but
Hmm.
last Wednesday was kind of a ramble between um, all kinds of topics I don't recall, and then a demo of a browser that's a part of Cloud9 that does not use um, cookies of any kind.
Is
It's
it
a part
all
of
on the
his.
URL?
Uh, it might use the browser's local storage of some kind. I don't know. He
Well,
hasn't
then
got into
that's
it.
the same thing as a cookie, isn't it?
Uh, not if it's contained in some kind of a little database that's spun up.
Well, it's still state management. I guess what you mean is that it got difference in security characteristics.
I think as I understand it, anybody who goes looking for your cookies wouldn't find it.
Yeah, but if a browser is built properly, anybody using a different domain still can't see your cookies. If I'm on x.com and I have cookies for x.com and I go to y.com, y.com can't see my x.com cookies if the browser is implemented correctly. And the cat and the dog are sniffing each other right now. And the cat's batting at the dog, and the dog is just looking at him patiently.
Well,
Sorry.
you can ask him about it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm wondering because it's not a matter of, uh, well, anyway, I think I'm yeah, I'd be curious to see what the innovation is, what the value proposition is. Is there anybody else that attends that who might be in my network that I might know, or just you?
Just me.
Okay, all right.
Um, let me see if I can find Cloud9.
Oh, by the way, Jack, something I mentioned to you and Eric. So I've had an action item to go into the garage and clean out my inside slash fulcrum, slash copy pro slash godbout S100 mainframes. Still haven't done that. 'Cause, I want to install a mesh network, reinstall my mesh network today. But if I get bored, I'll go downstairs and pull out my S100 mainframes and spray them out and hopefully see if they're still in any kind of a good condition.
Uh, Now it's cloud nine. Just a minute. Language IDE install core docs connect architecture cloud nine Smith architecture build templates. Uh, oh Christ. Cloud nine is totally ambiguous, so I can't refind it. Um, at any rate, it's about time for me to take a hike.
Okay, Jack. Well, hopefully we can resume the fun topic next time Kayla rejoins us. And if he doesn't come on in the next 5 or 10 minutes, I may drop off myself and start installing my mesh network.
Or you could join FedWiki.
Hey, is it the same URL both Sundays and Wednesdays?
No, it is not.
Ah,
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you the FedWiki for today.
it's
It
always
is
different.
not this, it is always different,
Interesting.
probably because different hosts. So
Ah,
look in the chat room for today's. Um, that's the FedWiki for Sunday.
okay, thanks. But the URL you gave me for last Wednesday, is it good for this coming Wednesday? I'm presuming
It,
no.
it's both URLs are stable until otherwise noticed. But
Okay.
if they
Okay, so
change,
there's
I'll
two.
let you know.
One for
Well,
Wednesdays, one for Sundays.
that's correct.
Okay. And you're sending me on email, right? Not on chat. Oh, wait, there is something here in chat. What is it? Oh, it is a URL. Okay, so let me get that URL. Okay, I got it. I'm gonna put it someplace sensible. And that's for today, you said, right?
That's today. And today, see, Wednesdays at 10 a.m., but on Sundays it's at 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. All right.
So I'm going to
Well,
run
I may drop
along.
in if that's not going to be too disruptive.
It would not be disruptive. Believe it or not, you're one of that tribe. You just don't know it.
We'll see if they know it. Okay.
You're Engelbardian. They're Engelbardian, although most of them don't know it.
Ah, that's my passport. Okay, good. That's my visa. All right.
See you.
I'll hang out here, and if Kayla or Heiner don't show, then I will click on this link and see what happens.
Go for it.
All right. Thanks, Jack.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye bye.